Hello again, everyone. Todd Starucci, the Horror Nerd, here at New Jersey HorrorCon and Film Festival at the Showboat in Atlantic City, New Jersey. And I am here with one of the stars of Friday the 13th and many other horror projects, Mr. Ron Millkie. Ron, how are you today?
Nice meeting you.
Likewise. How's the convention going for you so far?
Well, I always speak my mind. It's a little slow, but we did okay. We're hoping for a better day tomorrow.
You, having done this convention several times, I can absolutely vouch for that. Saturday will be madness.
Good.
So, Friday the 13th, does it ever surprise you that after so many years, we horror fans are still so passionate about this film?
I'm grateful. Yeah, it is surprising. And people say, what was it like and what did you think? Well, I was an actor, I got a part and I'm on the bus and Sean said, you got the part? And I'm thinking, Friday the 13th. Is anybody going to see this movie? And here we are 38 years later and it only became, the first couple of years, it was a big moneymaker, but we didn't have the fans. It became sacred just in the past 10 years.
Yeah, and, I go to a lot of these conventions. I've had the good fortune to speak to a lot of people from these iconic horror films, and it is a big thrill to get to meet our idols.
Oh, how sweet. Yeah.
So, I'm guessing that, like any other acting job, it was an audition like any other. Were you into horror, or it was just a gig?
No, it was just a gig, but since that time, I've gotten interested in it, mainly because of the conversations I've had with the fans, and I have to say my favorite is, I love Friday the 13th, but I love Friday the 13th Part 2.
That's my favorite, actually.
Yeah. And my favorite horror movie is Black Christmas.
Oh, interesting choice. A good choice, but an interesting one.
Yeah.
That's not one that I hear a lot. Good one. What is it that makes that your favorite horror film?
The ending, when you find out he's in the house. And then that was done later too, but that was the first time I saw it. And of course I like The Exorcist and Anthony Hopkins.
Silence of the Lambs?
Thank you.
Yeah, that's one of my favorites. Although, you know what? I get into a lot of debates about that because people will tell me it's not really a horror film. It's more like a thriller or a suspense film. But I've always viewed it as a horror film.
Yeah, but I like Scream also. Scream.
That was a good one.
Yeah. So I'm into them now. Yeah.
Fantastic. Let's talk about the Friday the 13th remake from a few years ago. How do you feel about remakes in general? I know how some horror fans feel about it. It can go either way. What was your take on it?
I never saw it.
Fair enough.
I talked to people who liked it. Some said, and then others said, "Oh no, the original." But I got to tell you a funny story about Michael Bay.
Oh boy,
it's embarrassing. I found out he was doing Friday the 13th. I got his home telephone number from Sean Cunningham. I called him at home. And his assistant answered. He says, "Who's calling?" He says, "Ron Millkie." And I hear, "Just a minute, please." Ron Millkie. Ron Millkie. Where do you know Michael Bay from? And I said, "Oh, I was in Friday the 13th, the first one. Blah blah blah. I was wondering if there's anything for me to do." I said, "Just a minute." Michael. Blah blah blah. Ron. Give us your number. We'll get back to you. And that was the last I heard from Michael Bay.
That's a great story. Ron, so let's tell the fans, if I asked you what is one thing that the fans might not know about you or might be surprised to know about you, what would you say?
My true age.
35.
There you go.
I guessed it on the first try. How about that?
I could be a grandfather. Some of the people coming up, it could be my grandchildren.
Listen, one thing I am amazed about is how people younger and younger are coming to horror conventions, and they know who these characters are. Like little kids know who Freddy is and Chucky. What do you think about that? Are you surprised by that?
No, I think the Friday the 13th fans are right now in 35-year-old to 45-year-olds because they saw Friday the 13th when they were at a very impressionable age, 10, 14, 15. And you know, when you see a movie and you're impressed at that age, it stays with you all your life.
This is true. All I know is when I was little like that, my mother would not have let me anywhere near a horror movie ever.
No, and these people today saw it. They weren't around in 1980. They saw it on TV or they saw it on a DVD or whatever. Yeah.
Sure, I was young when it came out, so yeah, the same thing with me. I was a little bit older when I started discovering these movies. Now my daughter is 13 and she loves horror, so she's slowly being introduced to all of these movies that I loved growing up, so it's a lot of fun. So one last question, do you do a lot of horror conventions, and if so, what is it that keeps bringing you out to these shows?
The money.
Fair enough. That's a good, honest answer.
And and it's a little vacation. It's really nice. I get along really well with my managers, Chris and Stacy, and then you see the same people. It's fun. It really is fun, and everybody's so sweet, and it's a nice experience. You know, I'm glad it happened. I'm glad it happened to me because.
Fantastic. What are you up to these days? Are you working on anything new, or what have you got going on?
I'm directing some horror film shorts.
Oh, fantastic!
Yeah, they're all on YouTube. The last one was The Kindness of a Stranger. We're editing Nightmare Sanitarium. Before that, it was Sunset Psycho, which I wrote. It's a takeoff on Sunset Boulevard and Psycho.
Sunset Boulevard is my favorite film.
Really?
Absolutely.
You got good taste.
Thank you.
Yeah. So check it out, Sunset Psycho, YouTube, and it's in black and white. It's on. You can download it on YouTube. Before that, we did Murder 101, The Mutilator. We've done about 7 or 8. So I'm doing those. And,
great.
I did a couple movies for Dante Tomaselli.
Oh, great.
I did. I'm getting it. Senior Moment, Satan's Playground, and The Torture Chamber. Okay. And he's doing a new one called The Doll, which I hope he'll use me in.
Fantastic. So, yes, you have a YouTube channel where people can see your short films?
Yes. It's just just put YouTube, the name of the film. Once you see one of the films, okay, the last one was, I think the easiest one to check out is Sunset Psycho, and then all the others will come up, and you'll be able to download them, you know. And I teach acting in New York City, and
Fantastic. Ron, thank you so much for spending a few minutes with me. It was great to meet you. I hope you have a great rest of the weekend here at New Jersey HorrorCon. Folks, Ron Millkie, check out his short films on YouTube, star of Friday the 13th. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you in the next interview. New Jersey HorrorCon and Film Festival, Showboat, Atlantic City, New Jersey.